Welcome to the classroom again, and we're going to have a beautiful time together. And I think the last time we're talking about the soul, the human soul, as the foundation for creativity and the miraculous. You know, basically how possibilities are born, how we tap into our infinite potential, all right, in order to produce results that helps shaping not just our individual lives, okay, but also the collective at large, the society at large. And so today we'll still be talking on that, all right? The soul as the foundation, okay? As the foundation for creativity and the miraculous. Why did we say the miraculous? Because, you know, sometimes when we say we are normal human being, okay, it all depends on our frame, all right, our frame of reference, our frame as touching that. Remember the last time we, okay, not in this classroom, I think there is a video, you know, online, all right, where I spoke about the I am, the inner frame, and the miraculous. And so it's basically based on not just the statement, all right, but one's frame as touching the statement. So for example, when I say human being, for some people their idea of being human, all right, is full of all kinds of limitations, all right, is full of, you know, is basically weakness, all right, but then being human is divine, and being human, all right, really to be human is to live limitlessly, all right, because you see, because what is within is limitless potential. And so it is to the extent that you believe, all right, that we define your boundaries of possibilities, okay? And so that's why you need to constantly renew your mind, you know, constantly examine your concept. I know we are so stick to concept, and it's not bad, all right, because basically when you say you are not giving to concept, that is still concept. Concept is how reality arranged itself, okay? It is how reality is arranged. When you say concept, okay? When you say concept, it's the arrangement of reality, all right, in our mind, all right? Basically, it is how we perceive reality. Okay, so you see some people talk about, you know, you see, this is not without concept, this is not without that, without this, all right? Like I said in one of my posts, I'm yet to see a man who would shut up because, all right, he has realized that reality is not it's not about concept. You see, concept is how one perceives reality, okay? It is beyond just a statement of fact. It is one's perception of reality. And there is nobody who doesn't have a perception. Anybody who tells you, I do not have a perception, that itself is a perception. All right? So the perception is not the problem. All right? The problem is the extent that, you know, to which it's the limit of our perception. It is the boundaries, all right, that our perception have taken, okay? And so when one perception, all right, is in the infinite, Okay, that opens up to the individual, all right, a well of possibilities, a well of infinite possibilities. Okay, so perception, it's important. Okay, and you see, when also talking about the way we let's say view reality, like as I was talking a minute ago or seconds ago about perception also. All right, I remember when talking about how if you look at basically if you look at major mystical traditions, all right, and the mystics in those traditions, basically they can be grouped. We have those who see reality apophatically, all right, and we have those who see reality cataphatically. Okay, I think you may call it an apophatic, all right. Maybe we may touch on this. We may touch on this later on. An apophatic, all right, theological concept. Okay, that basically involves the way one speaks of reality by negation. All right, the underlying idea behind this is the infinite cannot be conceptualized. The infinite cannot be known. All right, you see, and so all that is known is debunked, is deconstructed. All right, in order to speak of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so we are saying the reality. Let's say God. Okay, God cannot be known. It cannot be found. You can't find God in human concept. But let's say human concept is an affirmative is. Let's say an affirmative is. All right. An affirmative is. All right. An apophatic mystic or theologian sees the is or debunk the is as what is not. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? And so you will find among these contemplative mystic or among this apophatic mystic, all right, always calling people to this inner emptiness. All right, this emptiness where that is devoid of thoughts, devoid of images, devoid of everything. Okay, but then how do you know what is not? You see, how do you know what is not? You simply know what is not by debunking what is. Therefore, what gives you a voice is what is. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying? If I say God is love, God is that, God is this, all right? Now, this is me defining. So what it tells you, God is not without a sense of definition. But you see, when you take that absolute as an absolute truth, all right, it becomes a problem, okay? Because you see, we cannot I love the way is it Plotinus? Yes, I love the way he unified everything, all right, as this unknowable permeating every human concept, all right, and that simply tells you what is above is what is below. Do you understand what I'm saying? What is above is what is below. If reality lies beneath the form, it is not apart from the form. Therefore, the form is a signpost into its deeper self that is formless. And so, you see, the duality is still not there. The moment one tries to deny all of this, you are saying this is not, this is not, this is not, this is not, this is not that. You see, in saying this is not what it is, you are indirectly affirming what it is, which is the not of what is that you denied or deconstructed. I don't know if you get the whole thing, all right? And so the ability for you to synthesize some of these thoughts is what makes you a mature person, all right? In terms of scholastic exploration, and not just being lopsided and thinking. Do you understand what I'm saying? We have people who now you can see when we talk. Let's say we have people who chant names. Let's say names, for example. All right. You see, one can descend within. One can be present within. All right. By cataphatic engagement, all right, by having to dwell on thoughts. Yes, you can dwell on thoughts, even though, even in respect to memories, pleasant memories can also be a gateway by which we revisit certain experiences. Of course, it causes certain, there is always a response in the body. Now, you don't deny some of these things as illusion. Somebody say, oh, your memory is not it, your memory is illusion. You see, everything concerning man, right? Everything that is part of man's capability, everything that is exhibited by man, all right? You see, it is the eternal is. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is what? It is the internal is. Do you understand? You see, that is, the man is capable of deconstructing it. It's also capable of recreating it. So let's say one has an unpleasant memory in the past, okay? You can deconstruct that, all right? If you follow carefully and understand what we're sharing, of course, you're going to receive the wisdom by which you're going to overcome certain limiting thoughts. However, there are certain memories you've had, let's say, about anything, all right? You see, there are some times where you remember some things about, maybe your company with some people, and you just burst into laughter, right? Yes, you burst into laughter. Not that the event is taking place at that time, but you are in the memory of that thing. And so in the art of remembrance, one can always have a pleasant experience in the moment. And so you cannot deny some of these, human expressions, okay? And for my own message to, some people who speak by negation is this. Always try and bring balance to your thoughts, because it's unhealthy to push yourself with an imbalanced thought. Okay? Now, being able to rank, to balance the apophatic, all right, speaking by negation, and the cataphatic way of thinking, which is thinking by affirmation. Okay? Always affirm God is good, God is this, God is that. Okay? When you say God is not all of these, okay, you must be able to marry the is and the not. The what? The is and the not. All right? The is and the not. And if, this one, I love this aspect in terms of, Zen Buddhism. All right? Always having to reconcile the polarity. That which is the is, that which is the not. It's actually one. It's what? Actually. It's one. And everything is forming concept. All right? You see, when you deny concept, the denial of concepts is not, you see, the denial of concept do not erase, all right? Do not erase the conceptual point from which you are speaking from. You really must understand that. See, it does not deny that conceptual point from which you, as one who speak by negation, speak from, all right? You're still speaking by concept, okay? You are just speaking by concept, denying a given concept. But you must learn how to unify, all right, all of these, because reality is not just that which is not. Reality also permits all that is, all human concept, all right? And that's why we cannot just look at a religion and say, all what they are doing is lie. Do you understand what I'm saying? All what they are doing is not lie. If you say it's like, that's your own opinion, all right? And sometimes, somebody make, uninformed, conclusion on religion they've not really looked into. They've not, done any scholastic exploration. They just make a conclusion and say nothing good is coming from here. That's not true, all right? That's not true. And being able to see that whole point, that unified point, where all religion as that point in which all religion are denominated, all right, is part of your own responsibility. Okay, you don't make conclusion on something that you don't know about. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes, you don't know about. And sometimes when you deny, certain mystical wisdom, it is at your own what? It is at, you see, your denial doesn't cause any change. It doesn't, do you understand? You see, if there is something good to offer, and I think this is what philosopher or theosophy should be, all right? well, 1 tear suffices, not to the point you deny the concept of people, but to be able to perceive truth. All right? Perceive truth as that which can be conceived in people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, people may not have explanation yet. All right? That may be due to maybe certain intellectual capacity. Do you understand what I'm saying? But then, you that can explain, or people who can explain stuff, like let them explain so we can understand. And you don't say, oh, because it is, because it is explicable, it's not true. Doesn't make sense like that. All right? And so, when I say the miraculous in this context, okay, I'm simply talking about human possibility, okay, human possibility. And so I asked someone, what do you think is, what do you mean being human? All right, I was trying to cite, an example the other day. What do you think? What do you mean when you see something? When you say I'm being a human being, all right? You see, you're being a human being, all right? You're being a human being. That judgment, that judgment of self, all right? That judgment of self, that conclusion, that report of yourself as being a human being. You see, it is not apart from your exposure. You get what I'm saying? Yes, it's not apart from your exposure. It's not apart from the education you received by yourself. It's not apart from your environment in which you grew up. It's not apart from your experiences. Okay? Yes, it's not apart from that. Do you get what I'm saying? And so, somehow, when you say I'm a human being, there are certain factors you must see. You must be able to, look into. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so, when I also say, when I say being human is divine, all right? You see, if you begin to see this human being, all right, in categories of what he can do and he cannot do, what you are doing, by that thought you are placing what? You are defining your limits. You must understand this. I see, anything is possible to him that what? Anything is possible to him that believe. Or when you say with God, nothing is impossible. With God, nothing is impossible. Only with those who believe themselves beyond impossibility. Alright, lots of you know that with God nothing is impossible, but you really do not believe that about yourself. Therefore, believing that with God nothing shall be impossible has not so much helped you. Alright? And so, like I said, the realization of you is the realization of God. The unconscious ground of being, alright? The unmanifest principle of the conscious is not aware of itself. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not aware of itself. You see, God realizes himself when you do what? When the individual realizes itself. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you realize you, God is realized. Alright? In other words, the unconscious, alright? The unconscious ground of being, alright? Operates or flows out, alright, within the context of consciousness. You and I, we are consciousness within this individual space. Okay? We are consciousness. What defines the shape of your experience within this space of individuality, alright, it is the extent to which, alright, it is the extent to which, it is the shape, it takes the shape, that experience takes the shape of you, that consciousness. You and I, we are consciousness, okay? And everything all together, alright, everything all together is the non-dual awareness of the unconscious ground of being. What does that mean? You see, God, I think when you look at the Kabbalistic theory of life, if you are not going to interpret it psychically, alright, you find out that it is actually what encompasses everything. Yes, it encompasses everything. There is no space, alright? There is no vacuum, alright, where God has not known itself. Do you get what I'm saying? You see, do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, God, you see, every every all of creation, all right? All of creation is the manifest of the unconscious, all right? And all creation together is the consciousness of the unconscious. And so there is only a non-dual awareness as far as the unconscious is concerned, and that is the collective consciousness as all of creation. Are we together? And so when you do not know yourself, all right, you see, the limit of that, the limit that ignorance places on you, all right, the limit that ignorance places on you, all right, is the extent to which God flows out. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's one of what we're talking about in the Jesus Father archetype. Because when Jesus prayed to the Father, we're not talking about, Jesus praying to somebody beyond the sky, trying to reach out to heaven. No. It was an inward vision of this infinite potential. And so the Father in quote as the source, flowed out, all right, in the shape of that microcosm, in the space of that microcosmic self, who is the Jesus, all right? And so your failures and success, all right, is the failure and the success of God, all right? The moment your frame, embodies limitless possibilities. Do you understand? Of course, we have an alchemic process to all of this, all right? But then I'm just trying to make some statements, all right? Statement of fact. There is a process to all of this. There is a walk into all of this, okay? And so when your frame embodies limitless potential, all right, you see, this is the understanding, all right? This is the understanding when scripture says that what? Anything is what? Possible to him that believes. All right? Guess what? That statement was not made as a prophetic reality, that will unveil itself after Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. Anything is possible to what? To him that believes. See, you are the one that categorized the him. You see? You are the one that categorized the him. In fact, the word believer, all right? The word believer, it's an archetype, all right? It's an archetype of a resurrected psychical system. Do you understand what I'm saying? In other words, you see, a man who has risen in his own psychical spirit believes everything. Do you understand? You see, he doesn't see impossibility. Do you understand? And so, the believing is not what? Is not a believer, is not a Christian. Please understand this. Alright? A believer is not a Christian. A believer is the man. Alright? Is the man that has gained an inward vision of his infinite potential. Therefore, there is no limit. There's no limit to what he thinks he can do. To such a person, nothing shall be impossible. And so, God, the Father, the source, flow out as the nature of that consciousness, the shape of that consciousness in this space of action. You understand? Do you understand? Yeah. You see, so when you say human being, check your reference. Being a human being is not the issue. There are even some people who call themselves God being. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they go. Do you understand? Listen, people believe themselves, oh, God being, God being, God being. But you see, the issue is not with the name, I'm God being. The issue with your reference. There are many people who proclaim I'm God being, but they are still full of limitations. They are full of unbelief about themselves. You see, it's not just about the name. It's about your frame regarding that reality or as concerning that reality. Do you understand? No, don't think people are against whatever you say. Some people feel that way. Oh, no. It's your frame. I look at the frame. Look at the frame, and that's why it's always good to do the test of psychological entanglement, where you get to put whatever statement, or it could be statement of fact, all right? It could be an explanation of anything. It could be a concept, all right? Engage it with psychological entanglement. And what does that mean? It means testing knowledge and seeing its area of application and its area of limitations. Because if you don't do that, all right, you're going to buy into certain limiting ideas that are true in some sense, but then in other sense it's not applicable. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why psychology is very interesting. Okay? So interesting, most especially when it comes to the test of entanglement. Seeing how, that's unified center of thought. When I say psychological entanglement, I'm talking about the unification center of thought. All right? And begin to test area of possibilities and area of limitations. And you need that. For anybody you are listening to, even you listening to me right now, I'm able to put the things I say into this test. Where does this apply to you? All right? Remember, there is how we can talk about reality as the not. All right? As the not. As the no thing. As the no thing. So anything, it's a negation. All right? The no thing. There is a place for that also. Yes, there is a place of that. It's part of how you bring your psychic system to rest. It is the Shabbatic principle. I'm talking about the alchemic, process of experiencing Shabbat in your psychical space. We can talk about no thing as a contemplative heart disposition, where everything, all activities, all movement of thought collapses into that inner emptiness. All right. I think in Hasidic mysticism we call that the Ayin, right? Or the cosmological interpretation of mystical Judaism, all right? We call it the Ayin, that emptiness, that nothingness, all right? Yes, that Ayin, where everything collapses into emptiness. And that emptiness is not an empty space, all right? Yes, the Ayin is not an empty space, all right? The Ayin is all things in their potential. In other words, it is energy at rest. There is no activity. In other words, what that really means is this. Your will is there, but it's not that which is what? It is not that which is not that which is seeking. Or your desire is there, it's not that which is seeking. Alright? Your emotion is there, but it is not a feeling of something. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so, all of this collapses into its potentiality. Alright? And that's what we call the Ayin. It doesn't mean an empty space. It simply means everything returning back to its energy form, to its potential form. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is what culminates into a creative circle when you look at the Shabbatic mystical principle in Judaism. Alright? Yes, God began from a place of rest, alright, and consummated his work in rest. So he rested 7 days after the 6th day of work. So in between, alright, or human life ought to exist, alright, as a repose, alright, in between repose. Do you understand? Action. That's why the 7th day is not a linear day, alright? It is a circle within which there is an action. And so life moves from the point of suspense to action, then to suspense. Like that, a point of suspense. Now this is where all creation, or that suspense, that rest. That's where human productivity, you are at your best. Alright? When your psychic energy is at rest. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why pressure never does anything good to man. Do you get what I'm saying? When you say pressure somehow, in this sense, in the sense of anxiety, in the sense of worry, alright, it dissipates one's energy. Alright? It's fragmented, alright? But then when one comes to rest, where all activities collapses into that emptiness, then man is truly whole. It is that wholeness in the soul that is called peace, or the peace of God. Do you understand? The peace of God. You see, my peace I unveil within you. Jesus understood. That's one of part of the Jesus wisdom by which he lived miraculously upon the face of the earth. Do you understand? So you and I can tap into that wisdom and apply it for ourselves also. Do you get that? And so, I think I should end here. Brother bless forever. So, maybe next time, maybe we'll go deeper in this. So I said this, there's a place for this, alright? The noting. But yet, this noting is noting, yet the noting is yet everything, right? The noting yet everything. Alright? And so, all that is visible is the invisible, beneath the visible. Therefore, all that is visible is a signpost into his deeper self. Alright? Do you understand? We have the image, which is the visible God of the invisible God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get that? The form and the formlessness. Not two separate reality, but two sides of one coin. Do you understand? That's why when you understand, like Paracelsus, one of the ancient, I think he did tutor Jacob Boehme, alright? If I'm not mistaken. He was talking about two sources of authority, referred to scripture as an authoritative saying, and he also referred to nature. When one observes nature enough, you realize this is all there is, but not everybody have the eyes to see the entirety of it. Because all of the appearance, alright, is not all of the appearance. All of the appearance, it's all that is, yet is deeper than how it appears. You understand? Therefore, when you see the appearance, when you sustain the eye, that inward vision enough, you can see into the depth of things. Alright? When you see the tree, do you really know the tree? Or it's just what produces fruit? When you even see you, do you see you beneath the skin? Or beneath your tribe? Or beneath your color? Or beneath your degree? Do you see what is you? Do you understand? But at the same time, we can't negate this form. This form is part and parcel of it. And some of you think, oh, the body goes away. The body never goes away. Do you understand what I'm saying? The body never goes away. Oh, this form will destroy, will go. This form never destroys. When you say the form, see, the in quotes, the decadence of this form, you think is decadence, is part of the whole energetic process of life. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so what is life is never truly dead. Alright? And so the whole form is all part of it. Everything is one. We want people to see it holistically and not dualistically. Alright? This is I think this is part of, or this is the nature of the vision of the new mystics that are rising, being able to harmonize and synthesize realities in all of its polarity. So we meet next time. I love you. Shabbat.